It's called A New Nightmare. Part 1. Troy, start the timer. Hi room, I belong here. I'm in everything. Addict-aholic, border polar, codependent, all of it. Big trauma childhood, a 5-time survivor. I cashed a monthly government crazy check that I never even applied for. That's why I'm late. I'm very sorry. I've been coming to things like this since I was a kid, playing beneath the table and counting the needs of addicts. My parents brought me along with them, hoping I'd learn something, and I did. How to save money on babysitting. I'm Kim. Kim, who used to be Scott's girlfriend. Scott, who last year chaired these meetings on Sundays. Before his sponsor Troy here stepped in to cover for him. Well, anyways, when life blew up, Scott and I evenly split everything. I claimed the morning serenity scene at the sober center, and Scott got sound healing. I got a new vape shop and coffee spot, and he left our gym. I'd already run through my old meeting by late spring. That's where I met Noah, the gaslighter, in early summer. It's also where I met tall Alex number 2, whose wife is just his roommate, but he's staying with her for the kids' sake. Later in the fall. I saw Scott's little recovery coach, Troy, who opened the meeting tonight. Thanks, Troy. At my gym, and I asked Troy if he still talks to him. Here's what Troy said. 1, today is back and biceps day. 2, Scott always skipped legs. 3, nobody in recovery has seen Scott since before New Year's Eve. I told Troy he gave Scott a lot of really great advice. Troy smiled and said, also 4, Scott had a good thing going with you. Because 5, you're so far out of Scott's league. We swapped numbers, and Troy said he works late in his office nearby sometime. He'd love to swing by to talk about recovery. So I'm back, maybe finally for the last time again. I'm already getting bored again. I swore off men, but Kim always gonna Kim, not ready to swear them back on again. I crave distraction, disruption. I want a new nightmare. Patternless time, scenes without rhythm, flashes, naked jump scares, men with changing faces, environments that shift, dreams that don't make sense. In the dream, it was my basement apartment, but it wasn't my home. It was ours. Then it was somehow just your home, and it was so large. Later, it was my studio apartment again, but it looked sad, small, and different. In the dream, I had a boyfriend. It wasn't anyone I knew. It also wasn't anyone I knew wearing a different face. He just wasn't any guy I knew. Then he was every guy I've ever known, and he looked at me the way I've always wanted men to look at me. Then, ticks, sea lampreys, flatworms, fleas. I want a new nightmare. Someone different, fidgeting in a church basement, across from me in a circle of chairs. Someone in line for the coffee pot, jogging in place, holding an empty 6-ounce styrofoam cup. Their new face I haven't seen around the rooms before. Someone who still means it when they cry during their share. Someone who appreciates a ride since swerving into a second DUI. I want someone who lost it all, but 1 week clean, vows to gain it all back again. I'm so in. I want someone who lets me climb into his skin, who lets me root around inside his soul. I want someone who has to give me up to God. Someone who makes me believe there's a higher power, but higher above that, there's only but always them. Who, Dad? It's him. It's him. Bad sign. I've got the it's hims and the who dats again. I want a new nightmare. I made a new start. I picked a new home group. I floated around the recovery scene like I was on tour again. I'm clean. I'm free. I'm running out of time and I'm doing nothing. But everyone else is doing everything everywhere. I want a new nightmare. Part 2. Shinju, thank you very much. Part 2. A cliff diver violently falls again and again off the cliff's ledge, but remains connected to it by an invisible thread. It is not so easy to keep the diver and the cliff separate. There's a path worn already, all the way from the edge of the water back up to the cliff, right up to the ledge, the jumping off spot. The previous footsteps are still wet. I made the lonely deep dive without even a splash. Down, down, down into where it's dark, and then still deeper, where life lives differently, where it's too deep for light, where you'll thrive if you're born blind, where what dwells has grown appendages that glow to see well in the darkness. At great depths, an inner light is bait for a hungry, desperate prey. Lures formed off me. I did the work. I dove all right toward the light. That's all I'm going to do tonight. Thank you very much.